Or is this full-time MMA now?
I love full-time MMA right now.
Back to the daily grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to subscribe if you're new and hook your boy up with a like if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time
MMA.
We've got some good news, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe some bad news too. Walk with me. Paige VanZant, who recently had to pull out of her UFC 216 bout versus Jessica Evil Eye due to back injury, is still hoping to fight before the year's end. And that's good news. But it is interesting because you do know with back injuries, man, with back injuries you never know. You don't know how long someone's going to be out, how serious the injury is, even if they're going to heal up, you know, fully. Because she had this injury before she signed with the UFC. She's had multiple fights in the UFC now, and we haven't heard about this back injury really, or it hasn't pulled her out of any fights. We've heard about Paige VanZant having issues with weight cuts, but not really this back injury. So it does kind of suck that it's an old injury that's resurfacing, because man, with back injuries, you gotta hope that it doesn't, you know, after this time now. And she did say she's not getting surgery. Fuck, man. You see what happened with Cain Velasquez. I mean, they are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Cain Velasquez is a heavyweight male, Paige VanZant is a strawweight female. But at the same time, back injuries are what's keeping Cain Velasquez sidelined for so damn long. We've only seen Cain Velasquez fight like once in 2 or 3 years due to back injuries. So it does suck that Paige VanZant's old back injury is rearing its nasty head and forcing her out of UFC 216. But the good news is that she's hoping to fight again soon. Now, she did say she's not set on if it's going to be Jessica Eye, her next opponent still, but she said depending on her healing timeline, she'll fight anybody that is available. Jessica Eye was on a 4-fight losing streak. She was like 1-5-1 in her last 6 fights, so this might have been a good fight for Paige. I mean, I don't know. I picked Paige to win, but I don't want to call it a gimme, because it's not at all, because Paige VanZant was coming up from 115 pounds. Jessica Eye was coming down from 135 pounds. So the fact that both of them are in new weight classes, you got no clue how either one of them are going to look. Who knows? Maybe the girls at 135 were just too big for Jessica Eye. Maybe she needed this division. And we know Paige VanZant has had trouble with her weight cuts. She's talked about passing out on the floor in her bathroom, developing eating disorders whenever she was cutting weight. So if she's allowed to fight at an extra 10 pounds, maybe she'll look better than we ever saw her at 125 pounds. That's what we were going to get to see at UFC 216. How both of these fighters looked at their new weight class. What was going to happen? I mean, and for Jessica Eye, who knows? Maybe it's a good thing? I don't know. Because if you're Jessica Eye, I'm pretty sure you probably wanted this Paige VanZant fight. It's a smaller girl, and you're at a new weight class. She's got some star power. You know, kind of like how Kamaru was just talking about Mike Perry. He said, you know, I want to fight somebody that the fans care about. If I'm going to get skipped over and I'm not going to get my proper ranking, I at least want to fight someone the fans care about. And it's kind of the same because Jessica Eye, even though this isn't a ranked fight, she's going to be fighting someone that the fans care about, because you know Paige VanZant was on Dancing with the Stars. She's got a little bit of a push. Paige VanZant's been on fucking hella magazines. Paige VanZant might be the most marketable fighter in the UFC. Might be an overstatement, but she's up there. She's definitely up there. Very marketable. So that fact alone, you know, Paige VanZant's got a really large fan base compared to some of these other girl fighters, lady fighters. So it does suck for Jessica Eye that she's losing out on this huge opportunity. But at the same time, I mean, Paige VanZant's got to do what she can to heal up her back, especially now that she's one of the UFC's top prospects, top stars. I mean, she's not Ronda Rousey famous, but she's got, people know who she is. Now, the thing about Paige VanZant is she doesn't dominate. She's not on a fucking spree like Ronda Rousey, or she's not finishing people like Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey. So her fans are a little bit different. You know, most of the hardcore MMA fans, they're not as in love with Paige VanZant as the casual fans. Just because the thing about Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor, Jon Jones, everybody loved all of them pretty much, because not only were they dominant fighters, they were crossover stars. Paige VanZant is more of a crossover star, less of a dominant fighter. So with that being said, man, Paige VanZant, she's got to be careful with her career. She's got to be careful. She can't just go out here and fight with a back injury and lose to some girl on a 4-fight losing streak. Imagine if Paige VanZant lost to Jessica Eye. That would be, to me, a huge fucking blow to her career. I mean, you could chalk it up to being at a new weight class, but you really can't, because she said there's problems at her lower weight class. She needs to move up. She's passed out trying to make 115 pounds. She developed eating disorders trying to make 115 pounds. So that means 125 pounds is for you. This is your new opportunity. This is your fucking saving grace. Chalk up 115 pounds to bad weight cuts. This is Paige VanZant's new fucking division. 125 pounds. So if she can have a dominant run at 125 pounds, Paige VanZant, ooh, that'd be, she could turn into a huge fucking crossover star, hardcore and casual fans alike. Because you could say, oh, you know, she had a little bit of success at 115 pounds, but the weight cut really got to her. But now she's really in her fucking weight. She's looking healthy. She's looking great at 125 pounds, and she's dominating chicks. I can imagine the Joe Rogan preview right now. But, so if she lost to Jessica Eye, a girl that's on a 4-fight losing streak, I mean, it just wouldn't sit too well with me and probably a lot of you. So I hope she does get healthy, fully healthy. She said she's not going to go through surgery for this back injury, which is a little confusing, because if it's a back injury that's resurfacing that you had before you signed with the UFC, I mean, maybe surgery can't fix it. Maybe that's why you're not doing it. But if it's something that surgery can fix, you might need to get the surgery done, just because we don't want it to resurface again. It hasn't resurfaced since before you signed with the UFC, and now it's finally coming back up. Okay, so after it, you give it 2 weeks, or, you know, it's not, she's talking about fighting like 2 months from now. 2 months of healing, how's that going to make the thing not surface after your next fight? If you're just going to let it fucking go down by itself and heal up by itself, you know, go off your healing timeline, who's to say this injury doesn't come back? It would hate to see Paige VanZant as like the star that almost was, you know, or like a fighter that can't be active. I mean, and who knows though, honestly, let's think about that. Maybe that's better for Paige VanZant's career. Some of these fighters that like are very marketable, but they're not the cream of the crop as far as talent, UFC fighting talent. Like I don't know who comes to mind, like Sage Northcutt, Mickey Gall, even CM Punk, all of them. And we were just talking about this the other day. Sage Northcutt, Mickey Gall, CM Punk. They're probably not ready for the top 25 guys in their division, or the top 15 for sure. But the UFC, they're still marketable. They still can build a fan base. CM Punk already had his own. Paige VanZant's got a fan base from Dancing with the Stars. So for fighters like that, you know, and she lost to Michelle Waterson, the Karate Hottie. You know, for fighters that I would say don't belong in the top 10 or the top 5 or 15 of their division, it's probably better to take their career slow. The problem is, once you get a lot of fans, everybody starts clamoring and saying, oh, how would they do versus, you know, how would Mickey Gall do versus Jorge Masvidal? How would Mickey Gall do versus Robbie Lawler? How would Paige VanZant do against Joanna Jędrzejczyk? It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. It probably wouldn't be good for them. But thinking about that, they're just like, oh my god, I know Joanna, I know Paige, I want to see him fight. They're not thinking Joanna would fucking do bad things to Paige VanZant. Man, I was looking at some of the pictures after Paige VanZant's fucking Rose Namajunas fight. Holy fuck, bro, there's some bad pictures of Paige VanZant after fights. It's like, god damn, bro, that is not a good look for Paige VanZant. You do not want to, Paige, bro, I'm half white and half black, but Paige VanZant just looks like everybody's little sister. It don't matter. She just looks like your little fucking sister. I don't give a fuck who you are. Paige VanZant looks like your little sister. So you don't want to see your little, I don't even have a fucking little sister, but Paige VanZant looks like my little sister. You don't want to see your little sister get her whole fucking face cracked open, bleeding out of different fucking holes, fucking face red from a pounding she just took, holding her arm from a fucking arm bar. Bro, god damn. You know what I'm saying? I seen that picture of Paige, like, with her face all fucked up like that after the fight. I was like, yo, maybe she needs to take a little bit of time off. I don't know. But back to the point before I get out of here. It's just maybe, I mean, I'm not saying a back injury is never good, but a healing timeline might be good for some of these fighters. Like Mickey Gall, you know, he beat Sage Northcutt and called out Dan Hardy, and he didn't fight anybody for like 9 months. Maybe that's good, because it gives him time to train and round out his game before people start wanting to throw him in there with the killers. Mickey Gall was mentioning Kevin Lee's name. It's like, bro, he is a weight class down, so you do got that on your side. But I don't even think you're fucking up a fucking contender from one weight class down. You know what I'm saying? I like Mickey Gall. I like Sage Northcutt. Sage Northcutt's one of my favorite fighters, and just because of his personality. He's so fucking professional and like naive. It's just so weird. Like, he seems like a cool ass role model for like my nephew or something. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say he can fucking beat up anybody in the top 15 just because I like him as a person. And with Paige VanZant, I mean, her fucking knockout over Beck Rawlings, that shit was tight. Where that karate kick she did and kicked her in the fucking face, that shit was dope. But I don't know how many of those karate kicks she's gonna be landing against like Valentina Shevchenko or Joanna Jędrzejczyk or Claudia Gadelha or Jessica Andrade. Oh my God, could you imagine Jessica Andrade versus Paige VanZant? Moment of silence for Paige VanZant. Could you imagine Jessica Andrade, mini cyborg versus Paige VanZant? Oh my Lord, I never thought about that until that moment. That would be terrible. That just goes to what I was talking about. Some of these fighters that are very marketable, you don't want to see him in there with Jessica Andrade. You don't want to see him in there with these fucking killers. So maybe they need to, you know, fucking get on a healing timeline or fight people like Jessica I don't know, because that wouldn't even really, it would have been cool to see how they looked in their new division, but it's not like it had any title implications. I did say in the past, like, since this is a brand new division, 125-pound women's, maybe Paige VanZant can win a fight and then win another fight and get the title before anybody else comes through and claims the title, before the real killers move into the division, before Valentina moves down, before Jessica Andrade moves up. Paige VanZant can sneak that fucking title. You know, like Carla Esparza, maybe she can get that one of the very first titles, and then she can say she was a former UFC champion until the real killers moved in. But with now that she's had to pull out of her fight with Jessica I don't see that happening. Valentina's already talking about moving down. Joanna already said after 2 more title defenses, or after she breaks Ronda Rousey's record, she's interested in moving up. So the clock is ticking, and with her pulling out a fight and having a back injury, time's not on her side. Paige VanZant might not never become a UFC champion, you know, with this going on, but who really expected that, I guess. But anyways, man, I've said enough about this topic, honestly. On MMA fighting, this is like a fucking 2-paragraph. There's only like 2 paragraphs, and I've been talking for fucking like 5 minutes or 13 fucking minutes. Oh my God. It is what it is, man. Let the haters know what the fuck you tell me in the comments. I'm out. What the fuck? Why did Barbie never get pregnant? Because Ken came in another box.